The fun fact that I've noticed inside the program is I was actually very impressed to see the younger levels doing the high schooler or older kids exercises that we create in their classroom because they found it fun. So as long as you have a program that matches all age levels, you can incorporate in any age. Welcome to Reflex Integration Through Play. I'm thrilled to have you here. If you are an occupational therapist, an educator, or a homeschooler looking to seamlessly integrate reflex and sensory integration work into your child's life, this episode is right for you. Today, we are diving into the simple approach, a practical, flexible framework that ensures home and school programs that are effective, measurable, sustainable, and stress-free. So let's break it down. I am here talking to you about a simple approach that we've been using inside the RITP certification program and the tool that we've been using to implement these school and home programs. We're diving into the simple approach, a practical, flexible framework that ensures home and school programs that are effective, sustainable, and stress-free. Okay, so let's break it down. S is for structure and schedule. A successful school program fits within the child's existing schedule, or a successful program fits inside the teacher's overall schedule rather than disrupting the already existing schedule. Instead of adding extra activity that the teacher should be doing in the day, what you want to ask is, what is their current schedule? Find out what the teacher is doing during the day and understand their current schedule. Where can we naturally add our activities in the teacher's existing schedule? Can we replace rather than add? This is something you can ask. Instead of saying, I want you to do 1 through 3 exercises per day for the classroom, instead you can say, what are you doing? What are the things I can actually substitute instead of the teachers doing it? Because you know that those activities might not be beneficial for the teacher, you can substitute for them. And another one is to think about, is it embedded into the daily schedule? You can look at schedules like movements can be added during a transition. You can add it during calendar time when the teachers are gathering the students. You can embed it inside fine motor activity just before they're doing the fine motor activity or handwriting or tabletop activity. You can embed those activities. So S is for thinking about structured and schedule. Look at the classroom schedule. Look at what are the things that you can actually substitute instead of add. And then what are the things you can embed already? Because if you look at their schedule, they are already doing so many things. You're just helping them by prioritizing. These are the things that are beneficial for your class. You're doing a great job actually giving them ideas like, okay, do these things more. Or you can say, I know your class and I know what your classroom needs. And how about you do these specific activities in this section that you already have a schedule mapped out already? Let's substitute it. Let's embed it in there. I is for independence. For a school or even for home programs or homeschoolers using our program, what we want to do is they must not place excessive demand on the parent, the caregiver, or actually the teacher. Instead, we focus on fostering independence in the child. As much as possible, can the child be more motivated to make this activity a child-led activity? That is, you really have to work on creating an activity that is age appropriate, according to what the child likes. So you can embed activities. Can we make it more child-led? Does it encourage self-initiation? Is it something that the child can actually do? For instance, in our RTP program, our school program, we can set it up that the child can actually ask for a movement break and they know exactly through the app and the program that we have, the child can say, pick this one, I've done it before, they can go do their movement break. That can be an easy way that you can embed. Is it child-led? Because what you don't want to do is take too much energy out of the teacher or the caretaker or the homeschooler and to add these activities, but making it easier for them. If the child can be more self-initiating, that's ideal, so you want to do that. And another one to think about under independence is, are instructions simple enough for them to follow with minimal support? In order to do that, you have to create a program that is super clear, age appropriate, easy to implement. And you want to know, as the activities that I'm giving them, is it easy to implement? Can they do it with almost no support from the caretaker or the teacher? As well as a therapist helping the teacher, can I give them an activity or exercise that takes almost zero prep time from the teacher? So that's something you really wanted to think about, because teachers are super overwhelmed by everything that they're doing. And the one exercise or the the program that you're creating might not be the priority for them. They have other activities and other things that they need to do as part of their job. And this is a supplemental program that we're adding in addition to what they have. So we have to make it as easy, as simple for the teachers to implement as much as possible. And in the past 2+ years, we've been testing out with different curriculum and making sure that it's as simple as it can be, and no thinking time, easy to plug and play, ready to use program. And we have to test out from pre-K all the way to high schoolers to see what is really working. And then we're seeing a result with a program that we've created that is actually a curriculum-based, easy to implement. So if you're using our program, yes, come over and then we can teach you. We actually are launching our program at the end of the month. If you're planning on using resources that you're creating, think about why some of the school programs are not being carried out. Why is it becoming difficult for the teacher to carry out? It's not because the teacher doesn't care about the classroom. It's just that they have their own 10 goals that they're working on. So you have to come in the classroom thinking about how can I make it super simple for the teacher to actually embed it in the classroom and give them a result. And you give them a result, they're most likely to follow through with the other activities. Think about that. Think about what you're asking the teacher to do in the classroom. And then if it's not being carried out, instead of saying that the teacher is not interested and doesn't follow through, doesn't care, you have to actually come back and ask yourself, is the program that you're creating easy to implement? It might be on you. Think about that. M is for measurable. To know if a program is working, we need ways to track progress. Reflex and sensory integration doesn't happen overnight. Obviously, it takes days and days of practice. That's why we need to create the school program that teachers can carry out, as well as a home program that parents can carry out so we can increase frequency. It's just like exercise. You don't get fit on one exercise and you don't stay fit by doing one exercise once a year or even once a week. So even though that's still okay, but you need more. So think about it the same way, that the more we increase these frequency, the better for the child. Think about repetition, increase frequency. However, we have to be able to measure it. How do we know this exercise is effective? So question to ask would be like, are changes observable? Is this something that I can actually measure? Is progress measurable based on skill development? After you do, let's say, 4 weeks of that, whatever movement break that you recommend, or sensory diet and reflex integration, movement break, brain-body connection, whatever you want to call it, is progress measurable based on skill development? We want to measure that. Is there available data? It can be formal or informal data to monitor improvement. For example, if a child struggles, let's say, with balance, we can track small milestones like holding position longer or improving coordination. Or if the child in the classroom has a hard time with focusing or an attention, we can measure how long they can sustain attention and engage in a structured activity in a way that is observable for the teacher and the therapist. And then we can measure, okay, we've been doing this activity for, let's say, 3-4 weeks. Child was in this, can focus only 2 minutes before. Now he's focusing about 7 to 8. That's improvement. So you're actually measuring the activities that you're doing plus the result that you're looking at. You want a measurable data that you can actually track. So whatever that activities you're doing, you have to be intentional about it. And then you want to know why. Why am I giving the teacher this specific exercise that's going to put something on the teacher's plate? You have to prove that, okay, I'm giving you this exercise because I want to work on A, B, and C goals that you're working on. And then you can think about, okay, what are the main concerns of the teacher? The teacher's goal might be the student is not sitting still for me. He has a hard time copying from the board. He has a hard time participating in sports activity. So then you have that. And then you do your school program and you say, okay, these are the things you can implement for this specific child. If it's a pull-out child and they need to do movement activity, you can say, these are the things I want you to do. So you pick the specific exercises that targets that skill. And then in that way, not only you, but the teacher actually needs to see the improvement. If the teacher is not seeing result, why do they need to follow through with the exercise? So whatever goal that you're working on, it needs to include the teacher and it needs to be measurable. And measurable progress keeps motivation high. If there's no measurable data for the students, the teacher is not going to be consistently following through. Because why? Because they have other things that they're doing and they're going to look for something that's going to give them a good return on their investment, which is their time and energy. So sometimes it might not make sense, the activities that we give them. It happens to me too when I'm talking to teachers. For instance, they might ask me like, okay, these are the class, and they're kindergartners. They can't even write. They can't even make the X. They can't write their names. And they're all kindergartners. What am I going to do? And help me with fine motor. It might be that after I go into the classroom, I look at the class, my first inclination I've done this in the past. It's like, actually, let's take the next 3 weeks or 4 weeks, and I promise you, do these movement activities that is more gross motor, more crossing the midline, or bigger activities, because I just looked at the class and we did a quick screening and I can tell what they're lacking from foundational level. I promise you, just do this for me every day during your morning meeting, and let's test it out. And even if the teacher is not sure at first, just giving him a time, measurable, even with the teacher, I'm giving him a measurable time. I'm saying, let's do it for 2 weeks. I'm not saying do it for the whole school year. And then we look at how are they doing. Next 2, 3 weeks later, the teacher was saying like, oh my gosh, they're actually doing better now. They actually can do it. And then I can move on. Okay, next time, let's do this exercise. And then we can eventually gradually move to the specific ones, looking at the developmental progression of the children. So when you're looking at a school program, do the same things as create a measurable outcome that the teacher can follow with you. That is really clear. Don't say, just do this randomly. Just give them an idea and what to look for and what for them to track. So you give them a result and the goals that they're working on, most likely they'll follow through because it's helping what they're working on, their educational goals they're working on for the child. P is for play-based. Children learn best through play. If an activity is engaging, enjoyable, and at the just right level of challenge, they will want to do it. Key questions to consider designing a play-based program. Is it fun? Is it engaging? Is it functional and purposeful? Does it match the child's interest and motivation? And is it age appropriate? So to make it play-based, don't forget, you might think it's a play-based, but the age might not match. So you have to make sure that you have a play-based approach depending on the age. So as we were creating for the past couple of years on this school program, I have to constantly shift and create activities for different ages. Oh, this is for preschoolers. And then we realize, oh, we need to create actually activity that is more older, school-aged ones. And then we have to look at once we start having middle schoolers and high schoolers, we realize these activities are so premature for our high schoolers or middle schoolers. We need to make more age-appropriate activity. And then we start to create activities that match their age. So in that way, they will be more likely to do it. The fun fact that I've noticed inside the program is I was actually very impressed to see the younger levels doing the high schooler or older kids exercises that we create in the classroom because they found it fun. So as long as you have a program that matches all age levels, you can incorporate it in any age. So you can have a preschoolers, then they can go doing that developmentally appropriate activity. And then for school agers, think about school age activity. Even if you evaluate a child and you look at the classroom and you might think, okay, developmentally, they might be lower. It doesn't mean that psychologically and emotionally they're age level, because we can't really say this child is at this age level developmentally, because we cannot truly check their emotional, the cognitive, and the social skills at any given time. They might be different, especially when you're working with the nonverbal kids and kids who might not be able to communicate well and not taking a structured assessment that you have a good idea. It might be that their levels are different. It might be fine motor and a structured assessment. You might say, oh, he's in 7th grade, or not 7th grade, it's age 7. But then you have to look at speech and emotional and cognitive. So that might differ. So I tend to lean towards more of giving age appropriate and giving them access to an age appropriate, even higher. Just like I said earlier, our younger kids actually like doing the more advanced ones because they found it very challenging and it's fun to do that. So don't always go back and do the same thing over and over again and do crawling over and over again or cat-cow over and over again, because it's boring and they don't want to do that all the time. So think through age appropriate activities and how to implement that. Okay, so whether it's an obstacle course or whether you're doing animal walk for the little ones or using rhythm or metronome or music, whatever, to making sure that it's play-based or fun and an age-appropriate way. Okay, so that is a play-based approach according to the age. L is for learn. For learning, what is the child actually learning from this program? So we're not just randomly giving out activity. We have to have a very intentional approach to our treatment and what we're recommending to our teachers and our homeschoolers, or if you're sending out these programs as a home program, we have to be very intentional. We focus on skill building with a clear objective in mind, not just randomly say, go do this. Like whatever activity that you want to give as a professional, you want to know what is it really focusing on? What knowledge or skill are they gaining? It can be, if you're a school-based OT, you can be thinking about 2 people at this time, right? So you have to consider the teacher that you're working with, and then also the classroom that they're supporting or the individual child. So what is the teacher gaining information from this because if the teacher understands at least the why behind these activities that you're giving out, they can benefit from it, and they most likely will do it. And also, what is the child gaining from this activity? The child also needs to have a good understanding of the why behind some activities. If it's play-based and fun, they're most likely to implement it with no question asked, just for the sake of being fun. But some of the activity, we're going to challenge the brain-body connection. It might not come easy. It might be harder. For those reasons, we have to give them the actual why behind why they're doing, why we're recommending the activity. And then what knowledge or skill are they gaining that? Help them understand that. But first, you have to understand the why behind you're giving this activity. What is the ultimate goal? Like, by giving the classroom this school program, what am I trying to accomplish in a month? What am I trying to accomplish in 3 months? So I have an understanding of what's the ultimate goal. What am I trying to target? What reflex pattern am I seeing in this classroom or in this child that I'm trying to target? By doing this activity is going to help me do A, B, and C. And whatever that is, having an understanding of the goal or the functional goal or the developmental goal that you're working on. And another one is the activity effectively addressing their needs. We have to match the activity to their immediate need right now. How do we do that? It can be just like the example I gave you. The immediate need for that classroom teacher is fine motor, handwriting, come help me. You're an OT, come help me with this. So the immediate need, I have to go and then explain to the teachers, yes, your immediate need is this fine motor, but trust me when I say, by working on this gross motor, this for the next 3 weeks or a couple of weeks that I want you to do, it ultimately is going to help you with this fine motor. And I have to do it quickly, training and giving her the resources inside the program to help her understand how these goals and developmental progression can match, so she won't understand, and take her time, her classroom time and prep time, understanding it sometimes, or just giving her a quick substitute to be able for her to do it. Instead of a movement break, let me know what you're doing in the classroom. You already have a calendar time. They're there anyway. Give me 2 minutes. Do that in 2 minutes. And then do that for every day, and you get results. So in that way, it becomes more effective and addresses their immediate need. E is for ease. The program must be easy to implement. If you have an activity of a home program that you're actually having another person to carry out, think about it. They need to understand exactly how to implement it. So this is actually something I found really difficult. I've been a therapist for 20 plus years, and it's working with teachers. Is the difficulty that I saw is, how can I get these extra activities be implemented by another person in the team? It can be the parent or the teacher or another team member that is carrying out this program. How can I have them easily implemented? So that means they have to understand it. They have to understand the movement pattern. They have to understand how to the child, and every day that implement that activity, have the energy level to engage the child. So all those things that we were mapping out, and it was like that becoming difficult to have a consistent carryover all the time. That is why when we created the program too, I noticed like I need to create a curriculum myself, because I need to take out all those challenges. How can I make it super easy that I'm just going to hand them over? They're just going to do click and then they're going to do it. So I don't have to rely on their energy level for that day, whether or not they're implementing the activities, exercise correctly. I don't have to worry about, even sometimes they understand what I'm talking about. Sometimes if I have a teacher who's super busy or overwhelmed, I'll be telling them like, don't worry about it. You have 1 minute when you're transitioning, just do that. Just click that and have your students do that, even if a little bit, because 1 is like better than none. So just slowly starting them on, and while I'm supporting them in their class. If it creates added stress, the school program that you're creating, if it creates an added stress, it will not last. You might get like a first couple of weeks, a honeymoon stage of being carried out, but what you're really looking for is a sustainable program that you can have that can be carried out. If you truly are looking for a sustainable program, which is easy for the teachers to implement and easy for you to track, that's going to be a program that you're going to do. I have a ton of things that I've tried, that paperwork that I printed out, I gave out, it just starts and stop. But what you want it to be easy for them, of course, super easy for you, because you want to have everything in one place and be able to do that. Is it effortless to execute? Is it effortless for them? Watch them do that, right? So the way I do it is when we're doing the school program, it's the first time I might be there doing it in the classroom, but then I can walk around in the classes and I'm jumping how they are implementing it. So I want to be in the back and then seeing them how they implement and give support. And the more that I'm allowing them to carry it out, and then I'm in the back and then watching and helping them, and the more success that I'm seeing. Because at first you're going to be helping them, of course, and supporting them. And then it's going to be easy for them. You just have to go in and helping them how to implement it. And then you want it to fade out a bit to see if the teacher's successful in implementing it on themselves. You want to see, is it effortless to execute? If not, why not? Why is it harder for the teacher to implement? Or it can be like, is it effortless for you to give out these programs, or is it too much time? So if it's too much time, then what we're looking at, is it sustainable? If it's not sustainable, you're going to stop it. So you want something that is sustainable. Does it fit smoothly into the school curriculum? And that's something that you can implement in the training. Of course, we teach out like how to implement it and where the best time to do it. And as you implement your own program, think about like the program that you're putting together. Is it smoothly going through their classroom schedule? Is it simple for teachers to follow? Do they understand it, or is it difficult? Of course, you're going to have some teachers, they're going to catch on, they're going to do it, they're on it. And some teachers are going to take time for them to implement. That's fine. It's just the same as having different clients that you're working with. You have some clients who get it and then you do it right away. And some clients, you're going to be able to support it. So by having appropriate resources and done-for-you resources that's easily accessible, is going to be a key way for you to easily implement these activities. E is for ease. So there you have it. This is the simple approach with our RITP school program. S is for structured and schedule. I is for independence. M is for measurable. P is for play-based. And L is for learn. And E is for ease. By following these principles, you can ensure like reflex and sensory integration in the classroom to be practical, effective, functional, and goal-oriented. And if you are interested, if you are a school-based occupational therapist looking to implement an effective school program and want to access our done-for-you resources, sign up for our RITP Pro training. We are launching March 29th. I'm super excited about it. We've been working on this for a couple of years and testing it out with different programs from pre-K all the way to high school with homeschoolers and some private programs as well. And you will love it. I love it. I use it with the schools that I support, and I totally invested in it. So I'm excited for finally making it available in a way that is accessible for all the school therapists who've been asking. I know some of you have been waiting for the school program to be launched. So this is it. We are launching it on March 29th. We're going to have our kickoff moment. This training includes everything that you need. You have our step-by-step guide for our occupational therapists on creating a reflex and sensory integration school program. We have the ready-to-use resources that teachers can implement with no prep time, access to our RITP training and CEUs, and exclusive community. We have decided after deciding to launch this program, we actually are creating its own exclusive community that we are going to discuss and keep our Q&A going, making sure that our therapists who are going through the program can easily access and also get access to us, the creators, and how to implement it, how to do a teacher's training, how to support teachers, how to support the students as well, because each client is different, each student is different. So inside our community we're going to do more support. We're going to have a follow-up workshop from time to time, and we're also going to have a live Q&A session there that we're going to come to you live, and you're going to bring in your question and we're going to support you. So you can meet us live, that we can support you there, and so much more. I am super excited about it. We are having our kickoff on March 29th. So check out the link in the show note here to save your spot and register. And of course, don't forget to subscribe and share this information with other occupational therapists and school-based occupational therapists who want to have resources that easily to implement. Whether or not you've been in our community for a while and you've been waiting on this, or other schools and school programs that can benefit from it, please share it with them. We will be doing a kickoff session on March 29th and making it available for all our RITP Pro community. So come on through. Once you sign up, you will be entered in our community until the kickoff. That's where we're going to meet you and ask your questions, and then you'll be able to have all the resources there. So I am super excited to have it out for you, and thank you for joining me today, and I'll talk to you soon.